Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Let's get this mystery book read. Handbook for the New Paradigm. Greetings, and peace to all who are present. Who's in the building with me? Let me know. Who's ready to get this information on this anticlimactic eclipse day? For posterity's sake, it is April the 8th, 2024, day of the eclipse. Let's get this energy. Let's put it to use. See how it translates into tonight's lesson. All right. So, peace to Jay Baldale. Peace, Jason. Peace, Janae. Oh, whoa. Sirius Suit 888. Peace. MC Maestro. Peace and greetings. All right, so let's do this. Let us do this. Let's get that subconscious mind percolating. Let's get that subconscious percolation. Oh gosh, I forgot every time this thing takes a little bit of finagling because the book is so small. In stature, but certainly not in concept. Come on. There you go. Stay put. All right, that's more like it. More like it. Okay, all right. Sunshine Chick, peace. Always good to see you. Lisa, peace. Good evening. Sunshine Chick says, and for the upcoming book read, you have the date as the 14th. Are we moving to Sunday? Saturday is the 13th. Okay, my mistake. Yeah, I'll fix that. Thank you for letting me know. I will certainly set that to the correct date. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, so let's get started. We are on number 20. If you have the physical copy, that's page 94. Page 94. Welcome to the winning side. Focus and manifest. Let's begin. Number 20. The glory of your nations fade before your eyes, as one by one they are attacked from inside and out. Each is dependent upon the monetary handouts that require handing over mineral rights and other resources as ransom. The money is siphoned off into secret accounts that return to the usurpers as the leaders are deposed or assassinated. The cycles are repeated over and over. The people are abandoned by their governments and so must fend for themselves within situations of less and less available necessities and more regulations. Not a pretty picture to behold. So, what now? What now? Let us again consider possibilities that could bring change to this nightmarish situation. Could it be that the forces behind the situation could be creating causes to culminate this planned suppression of the people of this planet that might involve repercussions that are beyond their ability to control? Let me read that again. Could it be that the forces behind the situation could be creating causes to culminate this planned suppression of the people of this planet that might involve repercussions that are beyond their ability to control? Could there be small unknown glitches in those plans, which, if exploited, could cause outcomes not planned? It is indeed not only possible, but probable. Let us consider Y2K as just one possibility. If indeed all of the technological wonders of the basics of power, water, communications, money, travel, etc., all depend upon computers to operate, then so also must the military and conspiratorial communication systems and other wonderful mechanisms of planned use. All of these were constructed by contract. It is well known that contractors deviate from specifications whenever and wherever it is possible to cut costs. It is entirely possible that at least some off-the-shelf computer chips have been used rather than the special designs that were specified. Peace, Anna Molly. If those substitutions contain the same date problem as those purposefully in use for creating a chaotic breakdown of your world as you know it now, how will this affect their plans? Since there must be a synergistic exchange of information within computer systems, there may well be repercussions within their own separately created system that will cause chaos within chaos. Portions of their plan may deploy, but in order to establish and then maintain control, which is their goal, all must proceed according to plan. What if enough of their plan moves into place for the people to realize the truth? But their own internal chaos allows for what we might call meltdown from within. What if champions of mankind working within may have deliberately placed glitches within their systems? Interesting to contemplate. Star Lion, peace and greetings. Let us suppose that the above scenario is true. Now we have what might be called double chaos and exposure enough of the enslavement plan to bring humanity awake. This adds a third layer of chaos. Out of all this chaos, how does the balance tip towards survival of humanity and the planet? There is one more element that must be interjected here. What of those extraterrestrial beings that have been using the power structure they have coached into place? Would the above mentioned chaos serve their purposes? Could they have sabotaged the plan from the gate? Do they have in place a plan that overlays the ones that are in place? We might say that the plot. JD Temple, peace and greetings. Welcome, welcome. However, we could thicken it even more since we are delving into possibilities. When one planet interferes with another to the detriment of the progress of that planet, we have the universal law of attraction at work. Simply stated, what you do unto another shall be done unto you. If you interfere with another planet, then you have given permission for other planetary forces to interact with you. Aha! does the thick plot begin to come into clarity. Let us hope that your heart just skipped a beat, and real hope has been born within your imagination. Alright, so did you all get that so far? He's adding these different layers of complexity, right? Because most people, when they think about certain spooky conspiracies, they only think of like one level, right? And that one level is usually surface, it lacks depth, and it's usually not even really probable. Say, for example, oh my God, Bill Gates is buying all the gardens, right? Mind you, zero research has been done on that claim. We just saw some dude make a TikTok video about it, and he showed some pictures of documents, I guess. You know, that's enough to convince most people. But what if there's like 2, 3, or 4, or 5 layers above that you have no idea about? And not even what if, there definitely is. There definitely is. All the spooky situations and conspiracies that we hear about and see about, you know, the average common person that's spreading these things doesn't even know a tenth of the situation. Just think about the drama in your own life, right? The people at your job, or hell, the drama that you're involved in. You might know the depth of it, or if you're looking at somebody else's drama, all you see is what's on the surface. You don't know what's really going on. And that's just dumbass human drama. Imagine actual conspiracies and how many sides that you are not even aware of. How many factors you have no idea about. That thought alone really helps me to stay out of getting wrapped up in that kind of shit. MC Maestro says, I'd love a book like this written or channeled by the Dark Ascended Masters, as well as the Malachim of Tifereth, to balance some of this stuff out. Peace, Fat Tony. Welcome, welcome. Still in it, still living it. Good to see. Natural Mystic, peace. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So I want to read that part again. Let us suppose that the above scenario is true. What above scenario, right? What if the champions of mankind working within may have deliberately placed glitches within their systems, right? That's one thing that people don't consider. Right? What if there are other factors that are in place that actually works in the benefit of those on the winning side? Let us suppose that the above scenario is true. Now we have what might be called double chaos, and exposure enough of the enslavement plan to bring humanity awake. This adds a third layer of chaos. Out of all this chaos, how does the balance tip toward survival of humanity and the planet? There is one more element that must be interjected here. What of those extraterrestrial beings that have been using the power structure they have coached into place? Would the above-mentioned chaos serve their purposes? Could they have sabotaged the plans of their own henchmen in order to eliminate them from the game? Do they have in place a plan that overlays the ones that are in place? We might say that the plot thickens. However, we could thicken it even more, since we are delving into possibilities. When one planet interferes with another, to the detriment of the progress of the planet, we have the universal law of attraction at work. Simply stated, what you do unto another shall be done unto you. If you interfere with another planet, then you have given permission for other planetary forces to interact with you. Aha! Does the thick plot begin to come into clarity? Let us hope that your heart just skipped a beat, and real hope has been born within your imagination. We are still left with the dilemma of all that chaos. So, let us give a bit more clarity. Once a planet has been interfered with in a direct way, other than an advisory capacity, The inhabitants of that planet may request help in restoring balance and order. Herein lies the key. Help must be requested, and prayer is considered requesting. However, it must be what is called affirmative prayer. Affirmative prayer is entering into the creative mode that is your pattern, made in the likeness and similitude of your creator. Humanity must actually come forth in a group focus, in a harmonious creative mode within the upward spiral of the development of individual and planetary evolvement. Now, knowing human nature, there will be those who, when they have recovered from the shock, will immediately want to put back into place what is within their comfort zone. They will desire to take advantage of the situation to create another situation of power over the people. For indeed, the cry will be for new leaders. That would not be evolvement. The next level is based upon individual responsibility. That's important to highlight. Because boy, oh boy, aren't we always looking for a leader? We're always looking for somebody to lead us out of the darkness and save us. We are always looking for that savior, are we not? It's almost conditioned into us. And we think that that's moving forward, but the fact is that's what keeps us here in the first place. I remember when people were so hopeful for Obama. People were so hopeful for today's eclipse. I saw people talking about how this eclipse is going to unlock powers. Right? All these things that people said were going to happen about the eclipse. Somebody tell me which one happened. Hell, I slept through it. All the shit everybody was talking about. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Hazard Pie, peace, greetings. Fresh out the hot grease. Crispy donuts. Nuru, peace. They will desire to take advantage of the situation to create another situation of power over the people. For indeed, the cry will be for new leaders. That would not be evolvement. The next level is based upon individual responsibility. Unless that is at the basis of the new paradigm, the opportunity for the transcendence of this planet and its inhabitants will be lost. The importance of an already perceived outline to be the prayer of requesting help. Right? One more time. The importance of an already perceived outline to be the prayer of requesting help needs to be in place to supersede any chances of returning to the old. The help you need to bring this into being will then be assured. This help will not be military in any way whatsoever. It will be the love of the Creator manifested and shall be genuinely welcomed as it shall interact with the inner being that is the forgotten direct connection to the Creator. Love connecting and interacting with love shall bring changes beyond your imagining abilities. And I know that's really hard to fathom, especially if you're somebody who still is in that realm of fear and survival. Right? If everything you're hearing about is so scary and terrible, right? They're going to kick in the door with guns. China armies are going to invade, and, they're bringing in all the Hispanics from the border, and the gang violence is going to increase, and all this other stuff, all the paranoid fear stuff that is being pumped into you. Of course, if that's on your mind, pumping through your veins, for someone to say that love is going to be the solution, for someone to say that, it wouldn't make any sense to you, right? You wouldn't even accept that as an answer because your mind is fixated on survival from the violence, aka vibrating at the root chakra. So you can't fathom how love would be manifested into a solution. You literally have to evolve your perspective on reality, right? You have to have an evolved perspective on reality. first of all, you got to realize that what you focus on expands. There's a reason why all that fear-based information is being pumped into your subconscious on a consistent basis. Think about it. Like when somebody shares a video with you about, a cop beating somebody up or killing somebody, and you know deep down that there's not going to be any justice, what does that do for you? Does that make you feel empowered? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel like things are going to change in your bed? No. It continues to perpetuate a specific vibration as it has been doing for years, right? You're not raising awareness by sharing that video and talking about it all day. You're not helping the situation by doing that. You're continuing an atmosphere to where that type of thing can continue existing. None of that shit, watching and sharing it and spreading awareness, like none of that helps at all. Well, I just want to be aware of what's going on in the world. There's a lot of things going on in the world, but if that's what you choose to focus on, I mean, there's a million different fantasies you could be living in. That one is one of the most detrimental. Fear-mongering. All right, anyways, it is also appropriate to note that on a planetary level, the planet itself shall have a like experience. May this information of set your concerns. I was probably supposed to say offset. May this information offset your concerns about your futures. Welcome to the winning side. Focus and manifest indeed. MC Maestro says the pacing and leading, as well as the deconstructing, has to be strong with those types. Absolutely. The general public has gone through so much conditioning and brainwashing that it's easy to do it to them. Like, the general public is open to suggestion and open to hypnosis and open to influence because we've all had it done to us since we were in the womb on up. It's never stopped. A consistent barrage of mental manipulation. So yeah, specific cultures, right, are easier to manipulate and control than others, because some cultures are extremely emotional, extremely sensitive. With cultural unhealed trauma, there are buttons that are crafted that can be pressed to make certain people that belong to a certain culture, it's easier to make them move because their buttons are open for anyone to press. I was watching a comedian. There was a video on YouTube. The algorithm shared it with me. The title was, I don't know what it was. He said some joke about George Floyd and upset the audience, and like people started walking out. But I mean, the buttons are so easy to press, and some people respond in that way because they feel like they're supposed to. It's because everyone else is, so they have to, even if they're not even directly offended, right? But anyways, let's get back to the point. Y'all all right? How we doing? Number 21. It is time to focus so that emphasis can be centered on the pivotal change necessary for the transition of the project from one phase to the next. This does not indicate that the first phase is already complete. That part, getting the information about the activities of the Dark Ones, is now in motion. From our point of view in watching energy composites, enough movement in the waking up phase is taking place to ensure its continuation. There are enough focused on getting the word out for it to continue within that momentum. Information is being discussed between people now by those reading and hearing the information. As you know, either by face-to-face discussion or through your computer internet chat rooms. Who remembers chat rooms? Lance Benefield, peace and welcome. Who remembers chat rooms? Look at how fast things have evolved. Yeah, so as you know, either by face-to-face discussion or through your computer, internet chat rooms, etc., the critical ripple effect is beginning. In order to keep the momentum, now that the wake-up call is ringing, it is necessary to prepare the next step, lest inertia caused by lack of understanding of what to do next allows for the onslaught of mind-numbing techniques to continue to hold the upper hand. I kind of just said that, right? In order to keep the momentum, now that the wake-up call is ringing, it is necessary to prepare the next step, lest inertia caused by lack of understanding what to do next allows for the onslaught of mind-numbing techniques to continue to hold the upper hand. The next step is the choice of the individual to stand forth in determination to detach from emotion of overwhelm and to observe from a space that is beyond the reach of the control techniques. Ooh, I like the way he said it. Right? I like the way he said it. Let's read back over that so that it isn't lost in the sauce. The next step is the choice of the individual to stand forth in determination to do what? To detach from emotion of overwhelm and to observe from where? From a space that is beyond the reach of the control techniques. So look, if you're operating from emotion and you're operating from a state of being overwhelmed, you're still in the laboratory where you are being experimented on. So you literally have to go into an observer state that is beyond the reach of the control techniques. And that state is beyond being constantly influenced by your emotions. I'm sure it wasn't very long ago, hell, maybe today, that you or someone you know, maybe a friend or a coworker or a family member, might have gotten into somewhat of a heated argument. I mean, nobody's fighting with fists, but maybe a debate, discussion, or an argument of some type about some shit that really doesn't involve you. Like say maybe a sports team or a politician or who's the best rapper or the best athlete of some sort. Like arguing back and forth and actually getting a bit emotionally stirred up. Right? Not really considering the fact that these teams or these athletes or politicians or these rappers have zero to do with you whatsoever. They don't even know you exist. Yeah, here you are getting heated in an argument about them. That's an example of emotional manipulation. Why is my heart being moved by something that really doesn't even concern me? I've known people to stop talking to family members over political differences or differences in whose team or athlete is doing what. Ay, ay, ay. Because the thing is with that, the problem is never the actual content of discussion. The problem is never the politician or the athlete or the rapper. It's inner unhealed trauma that's looking for a way to be expressed. So we channel that rage into that particular debate or discussion. I'm sure we all know somebody that we don't even want to talk to about certain subjects because you know they're gonna, start getting riled up. We all know somebody to never bring up politics around. Or maybe you just do so because it's funny to watch them. It's funny to watch them lose their sanity over something so stupid. Don't be like that. It ain't good for you. It seems like a small step. Well, let me go back. The next step is the choice of the individual to stand forth in determination to detach from emotion of overwhelm, and to observe from a place that is beyond the reach of the control techniques. It seems like a small step, but is critical, for it is the beginning of the separation from the herd. So to speak. Separation from the herd. Once you step on this occult path, at some point you're going to have to make that choice more and more. Now, it's up to you how deeply you want to make that choice, but it is inevitable. All right, you might keep one foot in the world and one foot out the world, whatever your balance is. But you can't live this information if you're still part of the herd 100%. Simply because you're not even thinking on the same vibration. It's not even really a choice kind of thing. It's like what's going through your head, you're not even plugged into the same motherboard that they're plugged into. But you all know this. We're all experiencing it on a day-to-day basis. It seems like a small step, but it is critical, for it is the beginning of the separation from the herd. And what is the beginning of separation from the herd? Detaching from emotion of overwhelm to observe from a space that is beyond the reach of the control techniques. What makes the herd is the fact that they are under the control of the control techniques. Government, to govern the mind, to tell the populace what to think and what to feel. It is a step that can be accomplished without the danger that physical resistance would present. It is something that can be done in the safety without being detected by the apparently fearsome entities that are striving for control. It is also critical in the process of each individual becoming aware that there is a connection to awareness, a part of self that allows for this observation. It triggers the shift within the overstimulated ego function and begins the calming of the ego. This will begin to bring it back into its true intended purpose. This in itself is an empowering experience, for it begins the balance of expression intended in the manifested experience. This is a very critical point. By establishing the observation experience, a change in focus begins to happen in a smooth and easy way. It's all about changing perspective. Changing perspective from being stimulated by the emotional upset, the emotional triggers, and allowing yourself to observe what's happening from a place beyond the reach of control techniques. We get it so far, right? This is all easy to understand info. Let me know if it's not. But I think that this particular portion is pretty clear. It triggers the shift within the overstimulated ego function and begins the calming of the ego. And he's talking about this connection to awareness, being aware. In other words, coming out of autopilot. Coming out of autopilot. How is it best to begin to fulfill your assignment? By purposefully practicing the process within yourself, you will begin to guide those who are in contact with you that are waking to the knowledge of what is happening all around them. There is a fear element very active in their consideration of this information, and how it appears it might affect their lives. It is not easy to contemplate all the marvelous conveniences disappearing from their experience, as well as wondering how they will continue to make a living. It spells total poverty to them, and so it is easier to keep shoving it to the back of their conscious awareness and not consider it. However, it continues to pop up into their thoughts like a bobber on a fishing line. It is appropriate then to suggest to them that they stand back from the problem and begin to consider what possibilities there are to use the situation to their advantage. Yeah, so he's talking about how there's multiple levels, right? There's a level of people who are just now beginning to start to open their eyes and wake up and take into consideration that maybe they need to change their way of being, right? Maybe they need to detach from this herd mentality of constantly being poked and prodded by media and other smooth brains, and maybe start the process of taking accountability for their spiritual growth. But one issue with the people that are just waking up right now is, there are fears, right? They're thinking to themselves, well, shit, how am I going to make a living, right? How am I going to make money? How am I going to have friends? How am I going to have lovers? Because this information has the natural quality of separating you from the rest. How am I going to live? What's going to happen to my creature comforts? I don't want to give up smoking weed. I don't want to give up drinking alcohol. I don't want to give up popping pills. I don't want to give up sex. But how am I going to be able to do all that stuff and be in the knowledge? He says it spells total poverty to them, and so it is easier to keep shoving it to the back of their conscious awareness and not consider it. So for those people who are still kind of just waking up, it's easier to kind of ignore the vibration because they know that so much is going to change. And many of us have been there. I remember when I was in that stage, kind of running away from the knowledge because you didn't know how you'd be able to change your life in such a way that you continue to be comfortable and happy. Peace, Mo B. Good evening. Bella Bella, peace and greetings. Fat Tony says, I'm in that stage. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people in that stage, you know what I'm saying? And one thing we do know about this information is once it opens up, you can't really close it back. You can only ignore it and avoid it and maybe push it away. But it only grows. You can't help it. I mean, you can help it happen faster, but you can't stop it, that's for sure. Thank you, Jason. So yeah, if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and hit that like button. It does help. It does help. Absolutely, the algorithm stuff is real. I mean, shit, last Saturday, we reached a total of 10,000 views during the live stream, which is pretty crazy. That's never happened for me before. So yeah, if you like this video, please like the video. Opportunities will present themselves through barter, trades, and other methods yet to be created within the chaotic change period. Since it will be difficult to accumulate material wealth, this will free the creative aspect that is inherent in all fragments of the creator. Creativeness is the keynote of experience at all levels. Otherwise, none of us would ever have been thought into existence. The key to all of this is asking for help from the focus of thought that brought forth this experience and holds us in it. If it were not for that focus, the basic energy blocks, atoms, molecules, and cells, would simply fly apart. It seems difficult to correlate the probability of success for an entire planet. With only a few beginning, a shift by with only a few beginning a shift by simply changing their personal perspective and then encouraging a similar change in those in their sphere of influence, right? Because all of us have people in our sphere of influence, right? With only a few beginning a shift by simply changing their personal perspective and then encouraging a similar change in those in their sphere of influence. But that is how it has to be done. It's not about saving the world, but you can work with what you got. Everybody has people in their sphere of influence, even if it's just one or two. You have somebody who will listen to you and be influenced by you. Kashigi says, Travis, this book and the cosmic doctrine have really been bringing me back to my fundamentals and rethinking what I thought I knew to find new forms of knowledge that were hidden at first. That's amazing. There's so much power in the beginning, so much power in the fundamentals, right? We get so excited about moving forward as quickly as possible. We get so excited about trying to figure out what's the next level, what's the next level. But in all honesty, man, all the next level is built out of the first level. The first level is extremely important. The rest of elementary school is built off the first grade. The rest of high school is built off the 9th grade. The rest of college is built off the freshman year. Everything is built off the beginning. To breeze through it, to get to the quote-unquote fun stuff, I mean, you're only doing yourself a disservice. So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome that you are finding things that you might have missed the first time around. So just as a long journey begins with the first step, so also is change begun in individual experience. This is especially true when it follows the methodology that is the format for the operation of the laws that govern manifested creation. There must first exist something so that energy may be attracted to it. There must first exist something so that energy may be attracted to it. Does that cut on any light bulbs in your head? Are you considering what you are trying to manifest right now in your life? Does it even exist anywhere? Does it exist? How clear is your vision of it? Is it vague? Is it kind of just like, I want to be a millionaire, right? Or is it vague? Hazard Pie says, I don't learn fast. I would rather feel confident that I understand and go slow and steady. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think I kind of get that from my method of how I used to memorize and practice music, right? So like if I'm running through a piece of music and I'm trying to like play it and memorize it, the way that I do it is I try to play it through, and when I make a mistake, I go back to the beginning and I start over. So like no matter how many times I mess up, or even if I mess up just a little bit, I make myself go back to the beginning of the song. And so what happens with that is, as I'm making myself restart, I'm really locking in those first couple of notes in such a way that I can never make a mistake with them because I keep going over them so many times. And what I find is that how far I can go without making a mistake gradually gets longer and stronger, right? Because I'm going over all these notes over and over again. I feel the same way about this information. I have no problem revisiting the basics and the fundamentals because you're only going to see more basics and fundamentals in the advanced info, just different combinations of it. Hazard Pie says, that's it, again and again, till you know deep down you integrated that knowledge, right? That's how I, that's how I learn. It's annoying at first, but I like building that muscle memory. Because when you do it that way, it actually stays with you for a lot longer than if you rush through. Bella says, the good thing about the ones just waking up a bit now is it's more of y'all. Yeah, it's more of y'all. LOL. Back in 2015, I was considered weird, which I kind of miss, no lie. Yeah, that the one benefit is that there's more and more people to connect with. But the downside is, the later you start, it seems, the more difficult it is to adjust to the mainstream world. Because it's such a drastic change. So MC Maestro says, some info I rush and never forget. Other times I gotta repeat. Yeah. So find your style, you know? Everyone has their specific style. You might do great just flying through it. There must first exist something so that energy may be attracted to it. In the beginning, there was the thought, and the thought became flesh, it became manifest. Following the conceptual thought, there must be the desire for it to manifest. To think the thought only does not bring it forth. To think the thought only does not bring it forth. There must be an emotional desire to provide the fuel for the movement or change of energy from thought into expression. Through coagulation of attracted energies, manifestation begins. Through coagulation of attracted energies, manifestation begins. Yeah, we're talking about Think and Grow Rich now. To think the thought only, it does not bring it forth. It ain't just about thinking about it. There must be an emotional desire, right? And what's the emotional desire do? It provides the fuel for the movement or change of energy from thought into expression. Remember in the Cosmic Doctrine how much Dion Fortune was talking about movement? Movement is God. And God moved over the waters. Form includes more than things. It includes situations, circumstances, and stimulation of desire for additional thoughts that support the completion of the desired experience. Hell, that's another thing people overlook. When it comes to manifestation, it's not just things. It's circumstances, it's situations. Absolutely. And it's also everything else. It's also attracting all the other pieces of the puzzle. Holy Wisdom 93, peace. Holy Wisdom 93 says, Travis bro, I've been studying and learning the Jewish wizards like the Christian Church Fathers, Origen Tertullian, Kabbalah wizards, the innermost God, the physical body, the pneuma, John the Baptist Sai. That's an excellent direction to go into. It is within the creative impetus, once the process is begun, to move. It is within the creative impetus, once the process is begun to move toward completion, when the purpose is in harmony with the universal laws. It is within the creative impetus, once the process is begun to move toward completion, when the purpose is in harmony with the universal laws. The focus desired must provide freedom within the spiritual journey of return to the source for all that it will affect. When this is the underlying purpose, then the harmonic of attraction is set in motion, with all its subtle power released. It is well to review the basics when a shift in creative focus is to begin in purposeful action of great magnitude. Each and every change in the destiny of this planet is received with great anticipation to the highest, finest vibratory level of awareness. Those changes that will lead to the establishment of balance and harmony receive input of supporting energy that strengthens and hastens the process. It would be well to acknowledge this with gratitude as part of your meditations. The attitude of gratitude creates a return flow and allows for greater exchange of this supporting, attentive awareness. Attitude of gratitude, it makes for a return flow. So while you're giving out, you also want to employ gratitude to bring back in. Let that circulation happen, let that flow. Beginning a change within a flow as established as the planned hijacking of this planet is the most difficult aspect of the project of returning this planet to the safety of harmony and balance. It has required considering responses to the recognition of distorted energies into action, and further to ferret out its source and its purpose. Then that understanding had to be put into written and spoken word, and in finding ways to disseminate the information. All of this is to be accomplished within a flow of negative intention that not only is in motion, but also can be compared to a fast-moving river. Yet you are able to accomplish this seemingly impossible feat through intent, fueled by desire, to save your fellow beings and your planet from being exploited. Now, if we can continue the process with that same level of intent and desire to move many through the information about them to the next step, all shall continue toward the desired end result. Much of step one was accomplished without surface consciousness of where the knowledge and understanding of the situation engulfing humanity would lead. It was the need to inform and awaken so that something could be done. Thoughts of resistance through the original guidelines for continuing the government of the people fueled the process. Unfortunately, government of the people by the people leads to tyranny in quick succession through many small steps. Moving beyond into a new paradigm is the next step in the evolvement of the consciousness of humanity. Understanding the ideal of freedom through personal responsibility offers the true solution, is a big jump in perceived reality, and would seem more so to the beginning few in accepting this theory as being possible and begin to contemplate it. However, the impetus of the alternative of doing nothing during the collapse of the current experiment will supply pressure to consider new alternatives. Lack of personal responsibility within the ideal of elected governing entities will bring the realization of it as the key to success. The weakest link, or muscle, must be strengthened by exercise. It must be given the opportunity of use in order to accomplish this strengthening. This must be the basis of the way out of the present situation into a new beginning. Birthing this conception is next on the agenda. It will be like putting the second large rock into the flow of a fast river in order to divert it into another channel. But once the first rock is in place, Then it is time to add the next one so that more water is diverted. However, now there are more available to move that rock. There is a saying in your culture that in order to accomplish any difficult task, it is the willing horse that must be whipped. It is not easy for the compassionate driver, but he knows that it is what must be done. Indeed, we bless you, willing ones, in these critical hours of this salvage operation. As you also say, hang in there. It is indeed worth the effort. MC Maestro says absolute rulers were defied for their personal refinement. In the case of Rome, chosen as they had autocrasis of self-rule, which is still very rare. I don't know anything about that. Paul consulting with himself in Greek was also self-rule. Okay. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna go refill my cup of coffee. Somebody mentioned coffee earlier. You know what time it is? It's time for that unicorn Fruity Pebbles coffee. Rice Krispie Treats creamer, fresh box, fresh bottle, fresh cup. Oh yeah, give me just a second. Give me just a second. I'll BRB. Let me know in the chat, how's your day gone? How is your Eclipse experience? I'd have to say, man, based on what all these theories and whatnot, I mean, I never believed that shit anyways, but man, was this especially anticlimactic. I mean, I always knew it was not going to be anything but an eclipse as it is, right? Yet, an eclipse has always been an internal experience. Like, it's not even about going outside to see it. Like, that's not what even the point is. It's an internal experience, right? It's a time for you to observe. And it's funny because, like, I had planned to sleep through it, but I literally woke up on the minute. The subconscious mind is wild. Like, because, you know, I've got my little ephemeris and I was looking, okay, it's going to happen at 2:21 my time. I literally woke up to the minute at 2:21. And I was like, well. And here's what's ridiculous. Like, I thought it was earlier. I thought I was going to maybe get out of bed or something like that. But by the time I got dressed, it was over. I went outside anyway. I didn't see anything but a regular day. It didn't even really feel different to me. Like, it's just another day. And I'm thinking back to all these people. I was watching a couple of videos last night just to kind of catch up on what the knucklehead gossip was. Come on, man, it's just an eclipse. Oh my God, this is gonna happen, and that's gonna, and how many times do y'all have to do that before you understand? Like, that's not how the world works. How many times do you have to go through this letdown? Remember that time that Jupiter and Saturn was gonna become conjunct, and all black people were gonna get superpowers? Remember that? Like, remember all these events that such and such was supposed to happen? Just admit, y'all do it because you're bored and there's nothing else going on, so you need some kind of excitement. If that's what you want, that's fine. But when you expand past that, you can really utilize these events for what they're required to be used for. Right? You harness the energy not by going outside and looking at it. You harness the energy by going into meditation and contemplating what's happening within your own mind. You know? But whatever. Almost done with this coffee. I saw one video and it was like a Christian ministry video, and they're talking about how it, well, don't quote, he essentially was saying, don't quote me on this, but I think that this might be the rapture. This might be the rapture. I want to know how some of these folks feel when the shit don't go down. That's what I want. How does it feel when you go outside waiting for the rapture and it doesn't happen? You still have to go to work that night. You still have to go to work tomorrow. You still got mandatory overtime. Come on, man. The man just mentioned Y2K in the book. So like, that was 24 years ago. But this type of thing has been happening for a very long time. Like, astrological events and, oh my God, this is gonna happen. Like, that's not new. It's literally been happening for thousands of years. The world does not work like that. Oh well. That's a lesson you gotta learn on your own, if you want to learn it. Ard Quark, peace and greetings. No Face Divination, peace. Mark Lopez, peace. Lance Benefield says a lot of people are saying they didn't see anything. I didn't see shit either. Yeah, I heard some stuff about CERN, you know, they opening up portals as usual. This time entities came out the portals to talk to CERN people, telling them to stop opening CERN portals or something. I don't know. Y'all seen the videos. Starline says December 21st, 2020, right? Right? Remember that one? I'm just reading the chat so I can get back to the reading, that's all. And see, Maestro says, I remember 2012, the rapture shit, right, right. No Face Divination says secondhand embarrassment. Exactly. Starline says they're gonna pretend like they ain't say shit. Right, right. Lasange Decote, peace. Lasange Decote says, I just meditated to it, then bathed in the water left outside in a bucket to collect the solar energy. Hey, that's a way to actually put it to use and do something with it, right? That's one way to utilize this symbol and make it work for you. Awesome. Ardquark says, my principal bought 500 pairs of glasses for the students to see it. Fun day. That's awesome. Starlion says, Bill Donahue always said everything is internal. It's about you. Precisely. Zaire Anu, peace. Been a minute, brother. Good to see you. Moby says, I remember Y2K when I was in the military, worked night shift. All the generals came to work just in case the world blew up. LOL, nothing happened. Jay Baldale says, one fool at my work was talking about all the cell services going down and about to stock up on supplies. Yeah, stock up on supplies because of an eclipse. I love it. All right, let's get back to this now. Let's get back to this. Nuru says, close the portal, it's cold. That's what I heard from the Sky Wizards today, I swear. All right, coffee is ready. Let's get on with number 22. Ooh, fruity Pebbles, Electric Unicorn Coffee. At this point, that's my favorite coffee. And since I like programming myself in different ways, I only drink it when I'm on these live streams. So it's like an extra treat for me to interact with you all. Number 22. Oh, God bless America, that's good. The failure of the planned conflagration is to be expected, for there must be a foe in order for that to happen. If indeed there are no armaments to oppose them, what will the dark forces do? There have been such conflicts, but the end result was not something to be repeated. There were self-appointed ones who knew of no other way to oppose distorted energy forces, and this resulted in two wrongs, which did not equate to a right. It is imperative that it be understood that armed resistance is futile. Those of us charged with assisting in resolving the situation will not support it. Though it has been mentioned before, it seemed appropriate to make this point entirely clear. It's not about literally going to war with guns and pistols and grenades and rocket launchers. Mark Lopez says, you've encouraged me to start buying my own books to read and study. Awesome, awesome. Glad to hear it. That's a big purpose of this channel and why I talk about books so much. Hazard Pie says, Mandela effect struck again. No longer does the Bible say lion lay down with the lamb. It is now the wolf lay down with the lamb. Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous. And that actually happened a couple of years ago. I remember. Sunshine Chick asks, is the coffee sweet? The coffee itself it's not sweet. It just has a fruity pebbles taste and aroma. But like I said, I use the Rice Krispie Treats creamer for now. My son says there's a Fruity Pebbles coffee creamer. I haven't seen it, but I am diligently on the hunt for it. It might have been limited time, but I'm gonna find it. Matthew Watson, peace, peace. Welcome, welcome. How many of y'all play Soul Calibur? My friend is trying to get me into Soul Calibur, but it doesn't really look appealing to me. There is an interesting method of resistance employed by workers within industry when they are working in a factory situation in which the owners and managers are oppressive. Okay? It's called malicious compliance. It is extremely effective over a period of time. In this instance, the employees do only that which they are told to do. They execute their assigned functions, but nothing else. For example, if a machine is breaking down, they do nothing about it. If an item of production is out of place as it moves down the line and will become entangled in any way, they do nothing. It was not in their job description. They cooperate in exactly the way they are told. Nothing is done to create a situation. They just allow the process to follow its natural course. Total compliance, no resistance, and the situation deteriorates into chaos by its own volition. An interesting course to contemplate. Has anybody ever taken that route before? I know I have. If you piss off your employees enough, you can expect that to happen. You can expect that to happen. Lucky Hoodoo Jason, peace. One day the lion will lay down with the lamb. Is this turning the other cheek? Not really. It is understanding the process of manifested creation outside of nature. Check this out. That which comes into being through the focus of thought is maintained through continued focus. It continues as long as it serves its purpose, and the focus of positive attention holds it in manifestation. When support for this is withdrawn, it returns to chaos. We've all seen this, right? We've all seen this. Management, as in the above example, rarely knows the exact functions, and their focus is upon manipulating the workers, the customers, and the balance sheet. There are too few holding the focus with positive intent for the manifestation to hold its form. That's the truth about reality and nature, right? Anything that has come into manifestation through thought and not through just natural automatic nature means, if it's coming to manifestation through thought, it has to be maintained by thought. The moment you withdraw it, it starts to fall apart. That's why we have to continually upkeep the house, right? Whether it's repairs or simply washing your dishes and wiping off the counter and sweeping up. If you don't do those things, it will immediately start to display signs of deterioration. That's why comfort is a sign of wealth. How then is nature different? Nature is creation expressing in harmony with itself. Man did not create nature. Scientists are busy altering nature in your time. Ever bother to find out how long the hybrid distortions can be held in form? They cannot replicate themselves in perfection. The genes must be recombined, and often that does not happen according to past successes. It does happen when the intent is in harmony with nature, as in producing flowers of greater beauty and different colors. But the intent is to glorify, not to exploit the process of nature. Most often, those who love the plant work within the plant processes to accomplish the successful changes. That makes me think. That makes me wonder also, like, think about how many creatures on this planet have been here for an extremely long time, like millions of years. Apparently, sharks were here longer than trees. Think about the creatures that have been here for a long time, and think about the creatures that have gone extinct. Think about things that are currently, like, not able to be sustained without human help. Could it be that these things are not natural? Interesting to ponder. Perhaps things that have gone extinct maybe weren't natural to the planet in the first place. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Something to think about. If humans just stopped right now, all the GMO stuff would eventually just evaporate, disappear, and then the natural stuff would begin to come back. MC Maestro says clip-off animals. Yeah. I wonder why we don't have this deep-rooted inherent fear of sharks like we do of spiders. Maybe spiders are even older than sharks. Who knows? MC Maestro says, I think GMO may be a restoration in some cases. Yeah. Starlion says all the hot Cheeto girls gonna have to find something new to eat at 8 a.m. Hell, the hot Cheeto girls are probably gonna go extinct quickly after the hot Cheetos do. The point of this discussion is to bring to your attention the importance of the intent of the group that desires to cooperate with creation as they focus on the framework of the new paradigm. It is suggested that they consider nature as their ideal. This might give them a starting point. How indeed does nature fit into the whole of creation? How could humanity live in harmony with nature rather than attempt to have dominion, power over it? That does not mean that nature could not assist mankind in existing on this planet, but it should be a reciprocal relationship. The future would involve cooperating with nature within the laws of the universe. But what are those laws? Where does humanity find those laws that have been hidden from them? And the small amount of time remaining, damn. Is there time to study nature and attempt to put together an accurate understanding of that could be disseminated quickly enough? You must remember that what you need is available if you but ask. Already the law of attraction has been mentioned, but how many laws are there? Less than you might think. The number of applicable laws increases at each dimensional level. For the learning of these laws and their application allows for evolvement to the next level, where there are more to learn and to apply within experience. Let us begin a review of these laws. It is a review because you have forgotten them in your sojourn to the third dimensional experience. All right, cool. Let's get into these laws. I'm curious as to what they are. The underlying law of creation is the law of attraction. Simply stated, like attracts like. Like attracts like. It does this through the basic tool of creation, which is thought. I believe your Bible states, as a man thinketh, so is he. If you focus on the morass of evil, Once you are aware of it, you strengthen it. There, that's for all your police brutality videos. That's for all your cartel beheading videos. That's for all your paranoid Bill Gates is buying up all the vegetable videos and CERN is opening portals to hell videos. I believe your Bible states, as a man thinketh, so is he. If you focus on the morass of evil, once you are aware of it, you strengthen it. It is important to be aware of, so that you may withdraw your support of it by using the second law of creation. I'm just trying to raise awareness, man. The people have to know. The people know. The people know. Bold of you to assume that your awareness is so... let me stop. Anna Molly. So I attended and moderated for your live stream book reading last night. And I have to say it was pretty interesting to be on the other side. It was pretty eye-opening, I have to say. And I can see that from the other side, listening to someone read to you is, it's a way that makes time move quickly, because it certainly didn't feel like it was 4 hours or however long it was. Those were some good stories too. Especially that first one, that was really nice. I didn't understand what the hell was happening at first, but he sure did bring it around. That was cool. I think from now on, if someone asks what book is he reading, they have to prove that they're a real person and not a bot. So if you focus on the morass of evil, once you're aware of it, you strengthen it. It is important to be aware of it so that you may withdraw your support of it by using the second law of creation. The law of deliberate intent. Purposefully withdrawing your fear and fascination for the evil situation once you're aware of it, with the deliberate intent of doing so, is using this law. The law of deliberate intent. Purposefully withdrawing your fear and fascination, because that's what it is. It's fear and fascination. I would know. I have the right to say it because I've been there and I remember when I was there not long ago. Purposefully withdrawing your fear and fascination for the evil situation once you're aware of it, with the deliberate intent of doing so, is using this law. You cannot do this by attempting to stop thinking about it. It is only possible to do this by substituting another thought on a completely different subject. Bam. Bam. Kevros SS God, peace. In the case of the evil plan, it requires the total inclusion of those involved. It does not matter what the thoughts are as long as they support the plan. Boom! Is that not a bomb dropped? Look at that. So when it comes to this whole Illuminati thing and, oh, the evil wizards of Saturn or the demiurge or whatever the hell it is that has you shivering in your timbers, right? This is the thing. The way that that evil plan works is that it requires your involvement. Check this out. It doesn't matter what your thoughts are about it, as long as they support the plan. So you saying that you're going to fight the Illuminati is supporting the plan. Think of it this way. I forget the word of it. My cousin is studying this like super rare book of Kali. It was like just translated into English for the first time ever. There's a certain word that describes how an individual entity has this aura about them, and it's literally like a black hole. It's their universe. And what we go through on a day-to-day basis is a competition of whose universe is going to overpower the others, right? So depending on how strong and how firm and how put together your universe is, it's either going to continue to grow and expand because other people are getting included into it and accepting it, or it's going to break down and dissolve and be consumed. This is from some Vedic Kali stuff, right? But anyways, when you're thinking about this whole Illuminati, demiurge, whatever got you shivering in your timbers, you're accepting that reality. Even if you want to fight against it, even if you want to raise awareness, you're just like the bots that come in here and say, oh, I'm praying for you, Jesus is the way, here's a Bible quote. You're doing that same thing when you're sharing a Freemason, Illuminati, demiurge video. You're promoting for them, right? You're allowing somebody else to be included into that nonsense. Of all the different stuff you could be focused on, you're focused on being a cheerleader for your so-called enemy. Gotta love it. Got to love it. MC Maestro says, always be leading. I learned some shadow commands one time from that. Felt like Palpatine. Yeah. IDKDKDF says, to what degree is running away from something versus changing your mind on something? Yeah, so that's entirely invisible. That's entirely intent. You know that part. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that part. The way that I like to talk about that particular concept is that every single action you take, every word you speak, every thought you think, every emotion that you feel, it's a seed planted that's going to bear fruit. So if you speak something based on a seed of fear, if you take a move, right, based on a seed of fear, if you think a thought based on a seed of fear, you're going to plant a tree of fear that's going to bear fruit. It's going to bear fruit. You know when you're running from something. Like, that part's entirely personal. And I guess it also depends on how well you know yourself, how self-aware you are. Sometimes you could just be tired of it and ready for something new. You could desire something completely different. You know, and that's a seed. Unless you kind of know the person, it's hard to determine what someone else is doing. But honestly, I don't have time for any of that other stuff. I don't have any time for, oh, look, the cops are still beating black people up. Like, duh, we know that. That's what they've been doing. That's why they were founded in the first place. Oh, look, CERN's opening up portals. That's what they're here to do. Like, me watching a bunch of videos about them doesn't do anything for them or me. It just makes me more scared. So, it does not matter what the thoughts are as long as they support the plan. Complicity involves believing the intent of those involved is for the good of all. Perhaps now you can see the power of sympathy for the afflicted ones around your globe. This supports the victim consciousness that is required, for it is completely complicity in disguise. Do you not consider them victims of war or natural disaster or poverty? You must take a deep breath, accept your part in bringing support to their feelings of victimhood. They too have the responsibility in the creation of those situations. Your sympathy will not solve their misery. What's that? Your sympathy will not solve their misery. Free Palestine, free Palestine. Wait a minute now. Underlay, underlay, mama, yeah, What's poppin' tonight? Do you not consider them victims of war or natural disaster or poverty? You must take a deep breath. Accept your part in bringing support to their feelings of victimhood. They too have responsibility in the creation of those situations. Your sympathy will not solve their misery. Your deliberate choice to create a new paradigm of experience will do that. Your deliberate choice to create a new paradigm of experience will do that. Withdrawing your focus of attention and bringing it toward creating a new experience will bring the change about far more quickly than repeatedly sending aid while considering them poor, innocent victims. What you done? I don't want to get canceled, right? But I could talk about it. A month ago, y'all was trying to save Ukraine. The next month, y'all trying to save Palestine. What's it going to be next month? Who's the poor, sorry victims next month? And by the way, at no point were we stopping to look at ourselves. Underlay, mommy, yeah, I'm a sucker for cornrows and manicured toes. That's how he popped open the verse. Let us continue. Right, No Face Divination says Haiti. Y'all forgot about Haiti, right? MC Maestro says there's whole genocides that have been going on since the 90s, and I only see Palestine. Projection and escapism, man, that's all it is. Hell, there's places in America that are slowly becoming ultimate war zones. A playground for the demented, a haven for those who walk this world bereft of heart and soul. Okay. Mystic says I'm off shrooms, laughing my ass off. Is this the place to? Is this the channel to come to when you're on shrooms? What is going on here? I mean, I get it, but I don't know. I'll take that as a compliment, I suppose. This is the place you go when you're tripping balls. So, does this sound hard-hearted? From our point of view, it is hard-hearted to be part of the creation of these horrendous situations in the first place. I heard that. Does this sound hard-hearted? From our point of view, it is hard-hearted to be part of the creation of these horrendous situations in the first place. You must deliberately choose to implement your desire to create a whole new experience for them as well as for yourselves. When you choose to place your intent beyond the play perceived by the five senses and place it instead into the creation of a new experience, you are withdrawing your consent and support of the experience in which you no longer wish to participate. You are using the second law of the universe. Pause right here. So we're not just talking about free Palestine and Africa erupting into war. We're also talking about your life. If you're going through some stuff in your life that you want to end, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, instead of just, agonizing, perhaps a better direction to take will be to focusing all your power on creating a new reality, a different reality, something that you'd rather have. That's what I did. And it's kind of funny. During the eclipse, when I was lying in bed and I didn't realize it was eclipse time, I just noticed that my mind was drifting back, thinking about how far I've come from the situation that I was in that I didn't like, right? I was thinking about my last apartment and how it was kind of shitty. Paint was peeling off all over the place. The part that the rail of the staircase was wobbly and shit. I was always afraid my son was gonna fall down the stairs because of that. At one point, the stove broke and they kept promising to fix it, and they didn't fix it for almost like 6 months. So we had to use the microwave strictly. There was hardly any space in there. I had contracted a damn person virus who kept coming over uninvited. Right? Not to mention my job, I didn't like it at all, and I was treated like shit. But I let it happen because I didn't see better for myself. The whole situation was garbage, trash, and I hated it. But I was also fed up with it, right? I was tired of being depressed. I was tired of all of it. I was tired of just getting drunk all the time to escape it. I was tired of all of it. So you know what I started to do? I started to envision this life. I started to envision something better, something different. I wanted to spend my time and my energy studying occult stuff and teaching occult stuff. I wanted to be free from that nonsense. And I knew I could. I believed it. I focused on my power on it. The opportunity came and I took it. And it's been like 5 years at this point. 5 years at this point. It's all about focusing on the reality that you want to have, not on the one that you're so tired of and trying to get away from. Uh-oh, I missed the Jesus spot. Nehru says many conspiracies are real, but it's irrelevant to your daily ritual, reference, meditation, and destination beyond this body. How you inhibit and transmute light is all that matters. Amen to that. Amen to that, brother. Oh, why you kick Natalie like that? Starline says, seems to me like you put yourself through a successful trance. Absolutely. Nice Benefield says, congratulations, Trev. Absolutely. And I'm literally not even saying that to for a pat on the back. Like I'm saying, apply this stuff to your personal real life. You don't have to spend all of your energy focused on the things that you hate. Spend your energy focused on what you want and stay there, despite the bullshit happening around you. Stay there. I ain't going back, because what I created is far better than having to clock in at some job that I'm constantly being threatened at. Oh, we're gonna write you up, right? Serving these dumbass customers, etc., etc. No more. Working for a jackass who's emotionally disturbed and manipulated. No more. I I want a life of freedom. Let's continue. These are the two laws that apply to this situation. There are yet two more, and those shall be brought to bear within this information, as it is appropriate. It is important that we progress within the laws as they are applicable. MC Maestro said, I just want to let you know I got protection. Right. I wasn't even talking to this man. That had nothing to do with that part. He just took it upon himself to be afraid. Got the nerve to fire me, then say, "Oh yeah, well if you know, when you get a new job, I'll be your reference. I'll put in a good word for you." Huh? Well, what'd you fire me for? Anyways, I'll put in a good word for you, man. I don't want your good word. That's why you don't even work there anymore anyways. So, it is important that we progress within the laws as they are applicable. It is important that you come to realize that the laws of the universe are immutable. They cannot be changed or distorted. They work without question as to whom is applying them. When you consider the plan of evil intent that surrounds you, you can see them at work. Like attracts like, and intent of purpose brings situations into being. Like attracts like, and intent of purpose brings situations into being. However, we have attempted to bring to your understanding that there are nuances within these laws that allow for creation to continue. There needs to be an understanding and awareness of the leavening ingredient of free will, followed by its proper use. Through this, we have infinite variety within creation and expansive movement results. It is our hope that you will contemplate the implications of this information and that it will enlighten your understanding, as well as strengthen your resolve to serve with our winning team. Jay Baldhill says, always a trip how so many of us have in common, especially as far as life struggles go. And Amali says, for real, we're a group of traumatized hermits, LOL. Hazard Pie says, hermit, I am a hermit, an urban hermit. Could it be somewhat of a pattern that maybe certain types of traumas push a person into a certain direction? Could it be that we're not here by chance or by accident, but by design? Not necessarily a design of a specific person, but perhaps specific traumas lead to a specific place. Life is all about patterns. That's one thing that I can certainly see, especially when you deal with a large number of people. You'll start to notice patterns. MC Maestro says, all this to get us to search for the Grail. Star Lion says, we don't really have free will. Absolutely. I agree with you in general. It's levels to it, right? True free will, I mean, that's probably extremely difficult to come by in human life. It has to be earned. But for a person that does absolutely no shadow work or like no kind of real spiritual stuff, oh, they have no free will whatsoever. Completely dominated by subconscious desires and unhealed pain, and all those worm parasites in their bowels. Nehru says the Buddha started his whole revelation. All humans, actually all beings, born in flesh are suffering, and there is liberation from it through diligence. Yummy. Number 23. Number 23. When we last had occasion to deal directly with those behind this plot, it was within a conference-type situation. At that time, they were informed that there was full awareness of what their plan was set to accomplish. They were told that it was a futile attempt, but it was their choice to continue on in their chosen path. Inasmuch as free will is the loose cannon of the universal plan for evolvement, there was nothing we could do. Now it has reached the point at which their plan is indeed a threat, not that it could ever fulfill their desired goal of a negative universe galaxy. It can, however, create unimaginable chaos. Do not take this information lightly. It is indeed a serious situation. This is not the fault of the inhabitants of Earth. It is just that this was the planet with the consciousness and physical manifested body type to fit the most ideal criteria for their plan. This is not the first time they have tried to overwhelm your planet to use it and humans for this purpose. It was a long time ago in your sequential counting. They were far advanced then in their technological gadgetry, but did not understand humanity, which allowed them to be repulsed. Unfortunately, humanity chose to use force to do so, and in that way, buried within their psyche the belief that force was the way to solve any encroachment upon their perceived freedom. In a way, it married you to them through this perception. This time they believe that the earlier error in understanding their foe will not be repeated, for they have studied you well. Every weakness is known and is being exploited for their purposes. However, their focus was upon inducing your cooperation rather than resisting them until it is too late for you to do so. Matthew Watson says, Fall of Mu, Atlantis, and Lemuria. That's exactly what I was thinking, yes. That's exactly what I was thinking. However, their focus was upon inducing your cooperation rather than resisting them until it is too late for you to do so. They carefully laid plans to overwhelm you both sensually and physically. In particular, they have emphasized safety over adventurous risk except within military paradigms. Yeah, I'm trying to tell them, like, these bots, it's obvious at this point. You don't have to feed them. They don't really care. If they care, they'd look at the title. Gotta think, for as long as I've been doing this brand new stuff is it's easy to spot like a sore thumb. In particular, they have emphasized safety over adventurous risk, except within military paradigms. So you have insurance for all risky portions of your regimented life. You have your addictive paycheck system to depend upon, along with Social Security. Notice it is always capitalized right along with your references to God. Even omnipresent Satan clause is capitalized. Your heroes are all well-paid sports or movie stars. How adventurous are these? Damn. Your heroes are all well-paid sports or movie stars. Just think about that. These are our heroes. Especially to the most dense and dull of us. What kind of implications does that part have? How can you trust the integrity of somebody who's paid to tell you a specific thing? That coffee is so good. How adventurous are these? Your movie star heroes are drugged and adulterous in open display, along with your presidential movie star. Remember, if you can be held at the lowest level of your dimension, you cannot take advantage of the dimensional leap at the shift of the cycles, but can instead be taken to an even lower level of vibration. At that point, it is their intention to separate the soul energy from the body. They have no intention of putting it back into another body. It is the energy that they plan to use as power in the transformation of the chaos they intend to cause from positive to negative. Yikes. Now he gave you the answer to the question before. Yikes. MC Maestro says, damn, they wrote this in 84. I want to read that again because, like, I want you to get a visual of this. Get a visual of this. Remember, if you can be held at the lowest level of your dimension, you cannot take advantage of the dimensional leap at the shift of the cycles, but can instead be taken to an even lower level of vibration. At that point, it is their intention to separate the soul energy from the body. They have no intention of putting it back into another body. It is the energy that they plan to use as power in the transformation of the chaos they intend to cause from positive to negative. They believe that the lower the vibration, the nearer it is to the still point, thus making it more malleable. All of these theories have been concluded by attempting to study creation through the process of following its steps backward from manifestation to creative impetus. Fat Tony says The Matrix. Right. Right. Let me highlight that. My highlighter is at its last bit. I bought like a huge pack of these that I've been using for years now. And every time the highlighter gets to its last little bit, it falls out. I see what you did there, Anna Molly. I see what you did there. Fortunately, there are many calculations in their plan, but not enough to avoid creating great chaos. Indeed, if their plans progress much farther. Here again, we are faced with the great stumbling block of free will, the key ingredient in both bringing this situation into existence and causing it to self-destruct. This magical key is held by the consciousness of the beings on this planet. The consideration of the situation from the above point of view allows for it to seem to be a very bleak future indeed. Enter the view from the other side, that of creation. This view is adventurous, opportunistic, and positive. It moves not upon long and exacting plans, but within a fluid and expansive mode. It moves within a creative stance that allows for enhancement of individual and collective experience rather than suppression and destruction. Remember the picture of the pond. The other side must control the ripples from the outside in, while we may cause them great problems of containment by using just one small pebble. One idea continuing thought focused on creation. One idea continuing thought focused on creation. We have here two opposite modes of movement within the totality of creation. Now looking at the big picture, on which side would you place your bet? Yeah, MC Maestro. I was thinking that. MC Maestro says, nah, they knew you'd be reading Cosmic Doctrine with that ripple. Right, right. I became aware of that subtle nod. Isn't it just really cool how this works out? And you know, this kind of thing, it serves to eliminate doubt that we are most definitely dealing with a presence that shows itself in many, many ways. Many, many ways. Supremacy McCoy, peace. You guys ever seen that series called Ghost Rider? Where it was a bunch of kids in New York and they had this ghost that would communicate with them through books. Probably wasn't an accident that I fell in love with that show as a kid. Starlion says, yeah, love that series. Peak 90s TV. Absolutely. Oh boy. So yeah, perhaps the influence of the book Cosmic Doctrine is also the influence of this book. Perhaps. MC Marshall says, oh, feel ass show. Right. It is not that our side does not have some problems to resolve. It is just that we have the innate natural expansive consciousness that harmonizes with the intended life experience. Even though the conscious awareness appears to be mesmerized into sleep, how does one bring a hypnotized person back to consciousness? Anybody? How do we bring a hypnotized person back to consciousness? Let's see. Is it not a snap of the fingers? But must that trigger be previously programmed? Not necessarily. Their planned trigger is the sudden mass realization of overwhelming control, an emotion they plan to feed upon with great enthusiasm. So we have been busy triggering this realization in a slow and steady manner so as not to alert them to the damage that is being done to their planned trigger. Remember the 100th monkey theory? It is a slow and increasing dawning of understanding within the mass consciousness until the critical number reaches an awareness of a new concept and all know. See, Maestro says, paste them and break the state once you're synced. Right, right. Man, don't miss the point now. Don't miss the point. Listen to what Maestro said. Maestro said Biden got that damn ice cream trigger. Starline says Biden a bot for sure. Afro Ninja says he has an innocent child trigger. No, y'all gotta understand. Biden and Trump and any person that is put on a screen that represents the voice of the people, they are the ones who put the triggers. They know what they're doing. They're not fools. None of them are fools. They fully understand mind control and how susceptible the general public is. They do the things that they do with an intention to leave a trigger. It's programming. They're not stupid people. They might show you that on the screen, but trust and believe. These are masters at what they do. I can peep that shit from a mile away. But hey, here's the proof. The simple fact that, Trump might say something that enrages you, or Biden might say something that enrages you. That's proof that they're pushing your buttons. That's what they're here to do. Come on now. It wouldn't serve them to get up on that stage and speak as eloquently as they could. It serves them to speak at a third grade level because that is the level of comprehension that the average American has. You gotta, if you're communicating with somebody, you have to speak their language, not above it, not below it. If they go up there and start talking in big words, the people watching are gonna zone out and the point doesn't make it. That's why, you ever wonder why, like, when you watch Biden, every now and then he'll say some nonsense that doesn't connect, some gobbledygook, and you're like, oh, look at this guy, he has dementia. No, he don't have no dementia. That's a programming technique. But anyways, Afro Ninja says, then what about Obama? What about Obama? This is a perfected system that's been happening since before you and I were born. This is a perfected system that's been happening since before we were born, buddy. Press them buttons. Because see, the human animal is mapped out. It's well studied. Afro Ninja says he was clear spoken. No, I don't mean like speaking clear or speaking gobbledygook. I mean like, okay, the same way that every basketball player has a slightly different style of how they move, the same way that every musician has a slightly different style that they play. They're all playing the same game, but of course, they're going to have their own style of doing it. There's different styles of hypnosis. There's different styles of mind control. It's like martial arts. It's like martial arts. Starlion says Obama is a sorcerer the way he uses words. Right, watch these people and observe the art. Don't listen to what the hell they're saying, because that don't matter. Observe the art. It's an art form. Those are professionals. That's why they're in the position there. Think about it. You are the representative of the American people. Of course you got to be the best at what you do. Man, y'all looking at some extreme mental athletes here. The Bushes, Clintons, the Obama, Trump, right? He don't squeeze his way up in there. They could break up families. Starline says Obama was a master at it. He could sway your moms to slap you. Man, my grandma still got a picture of the Obama family up in her living room. Moonman55 says no matter who gets in, the government always wins. The House always wins, that's right. Maestro says the Bushes were whole CIA masters. Right, they literally wrote the damn book. All right, hold on. Give me just a second. More coffee and hold on. Actually, I can probably finish up this. Yeah, let's finish up this piece, and I'm gonna take another quick coffee break. So, where we at? All right, so remember the 100th monkey theory. It's a slow and increasing dawning of understanding within the mass consciousness until a critical number reaches an awareness of a new concept, and all know. Guess what? We are disarming their trigger. Are you aware of the awakening happening now? You were hoping for sudden realization while we were implementing the opposite. We are planning surprises of our own. It is indeed rewarding, or fun, as you put it, to be on the winning side and know it. Hell, the fact that he keeps saying, welcome to the winning side, that's a programming technique, man. Programming and hypnosis and mind control, it's not necessarily an evil or bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just another way of life. It's how human beings operate. Fantastic Girl says, yo, the Bible says everything you're going through. I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not really how the Bible works. Unless you have a clear example, I could be wrong, but based on my study of the Bible, I don't think so. But it's a big book. Maybe you're referring to a part that I was not aware of. MC Maestro says, in the same way trauma affects your personal life, a president's clear and organized mind determines a nation. Now is the time to begin preparing the step in the process of a new focus for the awakening awareness of your planetary inhabitants. A new paradigm of experience. How fast must it move into the fray? Don't sweat that for a minute. Just do your part and all will come into play right on time. Once the first crack in their plan is complete, things will pick up in momentum. Just remember that we are hardly impotent. It is just that we must play the game according to the rules that ensure success. Not so for our opponents. Keep in mind that the Creator must retain all of his fragments, even those that are our perceived opponents. There are no enemies. He cannot stop caring for any part of the whole of his being. Note that we use the masculine within this information when referring to the Creator. It is just that creating is an attribute of the masculine focus, while the womb, or ability to contain the creation of the masculine function, is considered the feminine attribute. Through this, we have the depiction of the masculine creator and the Mother Earth. Indeed, it is a balanced in wholeness of experience. We would prefer that the women of Earth should come into this understanding and find their balance within it soon. May these glimmers of understanding be blessings indeed, as you continue to fulfill your commitments within this wondrous event. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. The Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. That's the way they became the Brady Bunch. Pop, 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 pop. All right, give me just a second. I'm gonna me get some more coffee creamer and some more unicorn coffee. BRB. Stay frosty. Tried the lasagna. It's my favorite. Choking on the ashes of our enemies. All right, are we back? Are we back? Are we back? Glass Moon 219, peace. Steve Fushimi Snickers. All right, let's get back to it. Yamaika, peace. Number 24. It is within the scope of the information to bring through the basic framework of the underlying movement of how we may assist you to spearhead the ripples of change. Uh-oh. Make sure the audio doesn't go weird. Yeah, so it is within the scope of the information to bring through the basic framework of the underlying movement of how we may assist you to spearhead the ripples of change that will spread outward through the mass of consciousness. Remember that when the pebble is first cast, the first outward ripples would seem quite inconsequential. But in the moments that follow, they move outward in ever-widening circles. This process works when the waters of the pond are still. The mass consciousness is indeed mesmerized into stillness through the methodology employed by the planners of this situation. That does not include ones involved in skirmishes of war, but when the totality of the billions of beings upon the planet is considered, you must remember there are many who are not reached by the media communications and are unaware of any of this drama. Therefore, the surface of the mass conscious awareness remains quite still. This is the reason that it is imperative that we accomplish our goals to interject our changes within the individual awareness. The individual awareness of key individuals now. It is the slow and undetectable change of thought patterns within each individual that comes into contact with this knowledge that is the underlying foundations of our building process. The talk radio programs, as well as the supporting data available on the internet, is making an impact with additional printed and visual material for those who are yet to understand and process the wake-up information more completely. It's time for the percolator. This format is reaching countless individuals who have this within their conscious and subconscious levels of mind. Their degree of denial on the conscious level does not matter at this moment in the sequence of events. The information is there to be remembered when some item of news or event in their experience will trigger the remembering of it. You get that so far? Look at that. Look at that. The format is reaching countless individuals who have this within their conscious and subconscious levels of mind. Their degree of denial on the conscious level, right? Their degree of denial on the conscious level, whether how much they agree with or deny what's happening here within themselves, their degree of denial on the conscious level does not matter at this moment in the sequence of events. So look, when it comes to mind control, when it comes to programming and all that other stuff, it doesn't matter really if you agree to it. What matters is that you consume it, is that you're exposed to it. Because a lot of the stuff is about planting. So look what he says here. Their degree of denial on the conscious level does not matter at this moment in the sequence of events. The information is there to be remembered when some item of news or event in their experience will trigger the remembering of it. It's an art form. Think about how passionately Cisco was singing about that thong. I like the way, baby. And then when it kicked up for the next level, yeah! Look at that hard yeah he let out. You won't see R&B happen anymore. You will not see anybody singing about their passion like like that. That man said, I like the way. That hard ass yeah when the song came back around. Yeah! His shirt damn near blasted off his chest. Do you understand? That's the kind of intensity we're looking for. had the real violins, real, not Fruity Loops. Man, listen. Da 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 da. Listen, the information is there to be remembered when some item of news or event in their experience will trigger the remembering of it. The internet reaches around the planet, and the mushrooming of interest in available information is a measurement of the thirst for this knowledge, and is a small indication of what is going on. Please note that had one of the talk show hosts indeed stopped his involvement, there was a backup present and already in operation. Volunteers are given opportunity, but backups are standing by, not only waiting, but already in position. You hear that? Ours is not a slapdash, poorly planned operation, right? It's not Jimmy rigged. Just as the operation has focused energy to lay their plans and to implement them, this was not unknown to us. In the observation of these, there were plans in readiness so that any possibility to end their endeavor at earlier stages was possible. Indeed, a chess game of great magnitude has been in progress for a very long time, and you're counting. Now we are down to the final moves. Curve said, nigga went Super Saiyan while screaming, yeah. I want you to go back and listen to that song, how hard he hit that yeah, and understand what it was about. Understand what he understand what he wanted to see. That man had some serious passion behind what he wanted to see. Capture that energy. Capture that. Supremacy McCoy says, you just triggered me when I was looking at this girl's ass and that song came up today. Okay. Moonman55 said it's called a post-hypnotic suggestion. Triggers at a later time. Right. Absolutely. Nuru says, Cisco's chained in Titty's basement as we speak. Prayers all around, please. Free Cisco. Da-da-da-da. So look, this is a chess game. Chess, not checkers. Chess. The understanding of this basic framework of the plan involves seeing your part in the initiation of this phase as being within the first pebble. To bring change to a mass consciousness involving billions of individual points of awareness by a small group of focused group awareness is indeed a tiny pebble. If the focused aspect, it is the focused aspect that makes the difference. It's the focused aspect that makes the difference, especially when that focus is in harmony with the underlying purpose of the creator. Hell, I think the creator liked the thong song. He was behind that. As that focus encompasses a larger and larger group, the pebble becomes larger and larger. Just because it has reached the surface of the pond of mass consciousness of those inhabitants of the planet, it has not yet reached the level of the surface of the pond awareness of the planet herself. Big difference. The level of awareness of Earth consciousness is a whole new ballgame, which has never been explored by the humanity in this sojourn you refer to as the current wave of planetary civilization. It was known and understood at what might be called priestly levels long ago, but the information was not disseminated. Just as there are what you call beings of awareness that have transcended third-dimensional experience and who are devoted to the task of assisting you in the process, we mentioned Buddha, right? So also are the foci of awareness that serve in that purpose at the planetary level. Those are fully aware of the situation and have not yet brought their influence to bear. What you perceive as influences involving Earth herself are as yet just normal reactions to distorted patterns brought forth by the extreme misuse of your home base. Very interesting concept, this whole thing about ascended masters. What Dion Fortune said in the beginning of Cosmic Doctrine about her visitation with those two particular ascended masters, one of them being Christ, that whole part like stuck in my head ever since. Da-da, da-da. Da-da, da-da. See, every now and then, the Lord sends healing frequencies through places you might not consider. Healing frequencies. Those are fully aware of the situation and have not yet brought their influence to bear. What you perceive as influences involving Earth herself are as yet just normal reactions to distorted patterns brought forth by the extreme misuse of your home base. If the action within the mass consciousness does not bring about desired changes, then a pebble of different origin will ripple that conscious pond, and indeed there shall be movement on that level which will not be kind to the inhabitants, right? In other words, let's follow the vibration of now and get this work done, because the backup, in case we fail, is not going to feel so good. We won't be screaming, yeah! It'll be more like, no! Darth Vader style. If the action within mass consciousness does not bring about the desired changes, then a pebble of different origin will ripple that conscious pond, and indeed, there shall be movement on that level which will not be kind to the inhabitants. Unfortunately, that level of awareness is oblivious to individual humans, and so all shall experience and survive, or not, those events by their own intuition as to placement and movements within the events as they occur. It is still possible to bring about the reversal of planned misuse of the inhabitants and the planet without that level of involvement. As you can see by following the messages, there are multiple levels of involvement in this situation, and we have but barely scratched the surface. It is not planned to overwhelm you with information, but only to bring forth that which will serve your understanding that you are not abandoned, but are supported fully, so that the opportunity to transcend through the cycles may be fully available. It is not necessary that all of humanity be given this information in order for them to participate at this moment in your timing. Most would not even consider it. It is for those that are open to it and find comfort in knowing that their efforts are acknowledged and supported. Most have moved on with their assignments without knowing why or how to accomplish them, but have taken advantage of opportunity and kept going because there was a knowingness that it was what they had to do. That is courage indeed, which does not go unrecognized in the final accounting of this endeavor. Blessings to all that read and consider this information, for it is given in the focus of love within that which is the source of this opportunity through experience. Number 25. Now that we are beginning to reach a level of understanding of the basic format that is the foundation for your cooperative focus within the larger view, it is possible to expand into more levels of information. These are not at the physical activity level, but in the more important area of using creative thought. In as much as you are a focused fragment of the creator's awareness, it is now time for you to begin to fulfill your purpose of expanding the use of the holographic concept that has been the vehicle of your trip into third dimensional experience. This is not a process intended to overwhelm or cause resistance within your awareness. These concepts are known to you at deeper levels and will seem quite familiar provided you relax and follow the wording. These will begin to stir the inner remembrance process. It is within your understanding that a fragment of a whole can, through the holographic process, depict the whole. It is through the projection of light through the fragment that the illusion of the whole from which it came is reproduced so that the nature of the whole can be known. If this is the case, then you are a picture of the whole from which you were projected. If this is true, then how can there be diversity in what is seen all around you? Shouldn't this be a world of exact replicas? If the source of the replicated whole were limited to one focus of experience, then that would be true. However, if the whole of that source is multidimensional and within its makeup holds the potentiality of multiple foci of purpose, then each projected fragment draws upon that unlimited field of possibilities. Thought provides the mobility that allows creation to flow into manifestation. Thought has the potential of thinking within and upon itself. This is another way of describing free will. Thus, these added levels of activity enable endless variety to be present. Now, if that is true, why then isn't every fragment totally different? You were created in the image and similitude of what projected you into existence. Here, the law of attraction of similar yet different is seen at work. If that was absent, then there could be no exchange of thought, and creation would be just an unending field of unrelated diversity. Enter what you call intelligence, which is nothing more than thought thinking within itself and observing itself observe itself, a spiraling activity. Focused thought thinks itself outward into manifestation. This is a slowing of the vibratory rate of the extended thought to the lowest level at which it can contain its purposeful intent. At that point, the manifested thought can no longer perceive its source. It is in a state of thinking awareness that can now perceive itself and its surrounding environment. In your vernacular, it can no longer clearly remember the nature of its source, so it has forgotten. Since it is projected thought, it must maintain its connection in order to remain in manifestation. Through this connection lies the potentiality of the fragment focusing its own thought processes purposefully back through this connective energy flow, and then begin to remember what it is, which is again thought thinking within and upon itself. if I could just highlight the whole thing. Because, wow. And Amali says Bailey mind. Yeah, this whole time I've been thinking about that. And again, it's no coincidence that you read that particular story. And here he keeps talking about, well, thought thinking about itself and soul disconnected and not being reconnected. All this stuff is making me think about that story you read last night. What was the title of that one again? That one was Harlan Ellison, right? Yamaika says, it is by will alone I set my mind in motion. Hazard Pie says, the Eclipse and the Secret Doctrine made me think about the book Punk Science, Into the Mind of God by Dr. Manjir Samantha Lawton. I haven't heard of that one, Punk Science. Oh, that's right, The Region Between. Look up the short story, The Region Between. I think that's definitely a work of fiction, a short story that's worth reading. Pretty cool. Hazard Pie says, this book makes me think of Matrix Warrior, Being the One, the unofficial handbook by Jake Horsley. I would love if Travis could read that one. Uh-oh, I'm getting suggestions now. Matrix Warrior and Punk Science. I'll look into those two. Star Lion says, what's the name of that anime you mentioned a year ago? I think it was a horror. Was it The Enigma at Amigara Fault? Alright, let's go back to that. Enter what you call intelligence, which is nothing more than thought thinking within itself and observing itself observe itself, a spiraling activity. Focused thought thinks itself outward into manifestation. This is a slowing of the vibratory rate of the extended thought to the lowest level at which it can contain its purposeful intent. At that point, the manifested thought can no longer perceive its source. It is in a state of thinking awareness that can now perceive itself and its surrounding environment. In your vernacular, it can no longer clearly remember the nature of its source, so it has forgotten. Since it is projected thought, it must maintain its connection in order to remain in manifestation. Through this connection lies the potentiality of the fragment focusing its own thought processes purposefully back through this connective energy flow, and then begin to remember what it is, which is again, thought thinking within and upon itself. Since the holographic projection, which by the way, this is making me think about the cosmic doctrine, where she was talking about the formation of these atoms. Since the holographic projection is an extension process of outward movement of thought, the natural inclination is to continue the outward movement through the use, in this scenario, of its sensatory tools to think or to observe. Indeed, we could go on for volumes of books to cover the beginning story of this planet and its history of inhabitants, but that would take us afield from the purpose of this message. The point is to help you realize that thought, thinking within and upon itself, is commonly experienced by you because it is exactly what you are. Through choice, you create diverse experiences. Through thinking and choosing, each experience commonly shared situations differently. Through thinking and choosing, each experiences commonly shared situations differently. This is the natural flow of creation itself. Matthew Watson's servitors come to mind as well. Yeah, especially in the very beginning where the entity's introduction was talking about how channeling works and how thought transference works. Shoot, they summed up all of cyclomancy in a couple of paragraphs. Not all of cyclomancy, but the last few chapters that talk about the astral stuff. MC Maestro says, shit, that got me thinking that each syllables in each language are the respective interpretations of particular atoms. Shreem, Shreem. Nuru says, but you can't think your way out of the problem thinking, which is why we meditate, yoga, illuminate. Letting go of attachment to all materiality is, including thoughts. That's big, that's big. Even a person like me that studies this stuff, even I have to remember frequently that my intellect is not the most important or most powerful tool that I have. Even I still have to come to terms with that regularly, because I'll have a certain problem and I'll try my best to think it through. But I have to realize, like, yo, we've been at this for quite a while and nothing's changing. Let's do what we know works. Then I have to sit my ass down, meditate, and boom, problem begins to solve itself. And it's like, why didn't I do that sooner? Come on, Jake. Jake, I need the money, Jake. Jake, I need the money. Give me that money. It's not gonna happen. Wait, you gonna jack me now? You gonna jack me for my own money? This is my evidence. You wanna go to jail or you wanna go home? I wanna go home, Jake. I wanna go home. Just give me the money, let me go home. You don't deserve this. Alright, you motherfucker. Jake, go ahead and bounce, homie. We got your back. What? Yeah, it's like that. No, you. Moonman55 says it's impossible to see the programming without slowing the mind down in meditation. Facts. Absolutely. Which is a big part of what he was saying, right? He's talking about extending past that realm of emotional manipulation where the programming takes place and going into that observer state, which is beyond the programming. King Kong ain't got shit on me. You disloyal fool ass bitch made punk. Jake, I need my money. I know that whole scene by heart. That's funny. I still find it funny. MC Maestro said Jake had to dip his hand in the dark to better understand creation. Right. He had to slay his Sith Lord. He thought he was a Jedi. Through thinking and choosing, each experiences commonly shared situations differently. This is the natural flow of creation within itself. This sounds idealistic when the current situation surrounding you is considered. When multiple human beings, extensions of thought from higher dimensional foci, experience interactions, combined thought patterns evolve. Those thought patterns in movement are something like your breathing process. They expand to a certain point and then relax and contract by returning first to a restive state. Involved within this process, you experience positive and negative polarities, or so you have named them. It is a slow, spiraling process just as your breathing process was intended to assist you in a slow spiraling process. Rhapsophamies, peace. Rhapsophamie says, anyone know that comic where Yoda shows his dark side and it's like 50 times scarier than any villain in the series? If these are the parameters of experience, then you can begin to perceive that the contraction relaxation phase of your process in this moment of planetary experience is not in a normal state. It is very distorted indeed. Your intended freedom of thought choice process has been violated. It is layers of thought distortion experiencing contraction that has bypassed the restive point that normally allows for the return to the expansive mode. Hopefully, you can now overlay this understanding upon the planetary experience. If so, you see that in order for the distorted plan to accomplish their moment of beginning, following use of planned chaos, which is to be their field of opportunity to cause a change of polarity, they must allow the restive point to be reached. Their ideal is to attain this by overwhelming the greater part of the conscious awareness of this planet through a majority of its inhabitants. This is to be teamed with the ending or shifting of a major creative cycle in this galaxy. There exists within their timing and their methodology their greatest weakness, for the contraction of awareness beyond the universal norm, when placed in a momentary rest point, sets up the opportunity for a reactive expansion of major proportion. Carefully placed triggers within the same contracted awareness can ensure this expansion. Welcome to the winning side. Focus and manifest indeed. The frequency, peace. The frequency says, new here. Love what you're doing, brother. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the winning side. Ultra Instinct, peace. Ultra Instinct says, wait, Darth Yoda? Don't play with my emotions. I heard about it, but I'm not familiar with where it would be from. All right, let's get through number 26. And whatever YouTube is doing with the algorithm, it's pretty interesting. I think we're actually going to hit 10,000 views again with half the time. Last time it was like 5 hours before it happened. Now it's about to happen in less than 3 hours. I don't know what has changed, but hey, I'm with it. I'm with it. 10,000 views, 2 videos in a row. I'm about to throw myself a party. Yeah, but you ain't party. You gotta tell them no. Gotta tell them no. Number 26. It is now appropriate, through the shift of greater understanding within the key group of visionaries, to begin the focus of the conception of the new paradigm of experience. As is the pattern, many will receive this cosmic stimulation, and the perfect few will respond when the opportunity to participate is presented. Keep in mind that this continuing process will move through phases of birthing within the awareness individually and collectively in a subtle, calm, transcending movement. Do not expect a massive jumping on the bandwagon type of reaction. Hell no, and you wouldn't want that. It will move outward in a whisper of awareness. again, think in terms of the patterns of nature. When you observe nature, you see spirals in the slow process of growth, as in the spiral of shell formation, and within the functioning of breathing. Though invisible to form, it is the process that begins at birth and carries each mammalian form through its sequential life. Consider the birthing process through the format of breathing, expansion, and contraction, causing movement toward the goal within a transcending spiral and carrying it to completion. You will see a traveling outward of conceptual information and in-breath of consideration. Again, a traveling outward and an in-breath of shared discussion, moving toward the desired focus of new experience. The intent fueled by desire for new, the experience will bring forth the process which is being built upon the foundation of foci provided by multiple levels of awareness with supporting intent for this situation to move into a new paradigm. Information goes out and it comes in through discussion, through contemplation, right? Out and in, out and in. It makes me think about these 10,000 views. Like imagine somebody just scrolling by, but they hear something, right? They might be somebody who's like on the verge of starting to pay attention. Life completely altered because they get a glimpse of the cosmic doctrine or handbook for new paradigm. I suppose that's how this thing works. Anna Molly says Mondays are slow for competition live stream. My Mondays are always better. Okay, so maybe I should do this on Mondays then. Anna Molly says catching the Gold Book live stream changed my whole life, for real. Well, I guess that's the purpose of the increased views, huh? I mean, this particular piece of content, this and even the Cosmic Doctrine. Let me open up that page. I'm going to continue to refer to this. In the beginning of the Cosmic Doctrine, this is what's important about this occult information, right? She says that these images are designed to train the mind, not inform it. This is not anything about trying to memorize data. We're kind of past that stage. This is about, we're speaking directly to the subconscious here. Like this, the strings of words, the strings of language are designed to percolate the subconscious. Interesting stuff though. Uh-oh. It's almost at 10K. Sheesh. Y'all, Micah says I dip out periodically for a sec. It's a lot. Very interesting though. Yes, sir. Okay, so this is the appropriate moment to consider a self-defeating concept that needs to be corrected to ensure success. Through long-planted misinformation by the religions on your planet, you think of the focused assistance as coming to you from the outside. You look outward at the surrounding lights in your sky at night and presume it's coming from out there. Indeed, it is possible to exchange energies at the level of manifestation. However, the flow of creation is from the inside out. It is an expansive process. Again, we must remind you of the in and outflow of the breathing process. What your scientists observe as burnout and destruction through black holes, etc., is instead evidence of the breathing process incorporating the spiraling changes of shifts into the higher vibratory dimensions. As this happens, appropriate energy fields move through the process. No way. Look at this. It's 11:11 and it just now hits 10,000. It is 11:11 and it just now hits 10,000. That is, you can't even make that shit up. Right when it hits 11:11. Gotta love it. Got to love it. Lem, lem. Alem, alem. Peace, Jaren. Peace, Al Dickey. That's my real name. 40 shot kosher Corver. Peace. Hazard Pie says, I caught you by accident. You were talking about the clip-off and sorting through things you found in your attic. And I was doing that exact thing, and I burst into tears and subbed. And now I am happy, so happy I did. Awesome possum. Awesome possum. Lem, lem. All right, let's keep going. What your scientists observe as burnout and destruction through black holes, etc. Back to the black hole. It is instead evidence of the breathing process, incorporating the spiraling changes of shifts into higher vibratory dimensions. As this happens, appropriate energy fields move through this process. If it was all energy, then what is observed would long ago have been devoured by one single black hole. Here again, you can begin to understand the magnitude of the plans of the negative focus in attempting to create, through the process of pushing this galaxy through a process opposite the creative flow into an opposing reality. What is perceived by the scientists as the compaction of energy into a tiny ball of massive molecular weight is, of course, total nonsense. I was thinking about that recently also, how what we've been taught about black holes is actually not real at all. A red herring, as they say. The energy is expanding within the conversion process by increasing its vibrational levels as it moves into a new paradigm of expression. The energy is expanding within the conversion process by increasing its vibrational levels as it moves into a new paradigm of expression. Is this galaxy, or a small portion of it, going through the black hole process? There is no awareness of it. What if it was true? If it were to happen, it would hardly be a hellacious experience. Hellacious. Let us return to the point. To say that our plan is in motion does not mean that conscious contacts with seemingly appropriate beings of shared purpose and dedication is near completion. It is this process of conception that is the focus of these lessons. That which is to be accomplished at more subtle levels depends upon this process proceeding within defined parameters. The outflow of this information to those of commitment is encouraged. It is most meaningful in the whole of it, but each can stand alone as is appropriate. Keywords to trip the intercept triggers have been, for the most part, avoided, and the references to beings and processes of interest are made as subtly as possible. It is time that the usage of those be virtually eliminated, as our focus of intent is on information that educates and informs you of the true nature of yourselves and the energetic forms and functions of the creation of which you are an integral part. Let us make a point clear. The focus of information is not God speaking directly to you. That which you call by that name is a confused and misunderstood scramble of misinformation. What has happened is that what could be personified into the creator of this galaxy is not the focus of the whole of all that is. To make this understandable, perhaps, let us return again to the breathing process as an example. The underlying all that is pure potentiality, and even finer levels beyond that, which are imperceptible because to perceive it is to limit it. At its conceptual level, breathing is expansion as you breathe out, rest, in-breath, rest, and repetition. Potentiality is most available for absorption, big generalization, in the moments of rest. Throughout the entirety of the expression of potentiality into experience are varying degrees of awareness that have begun their return trips by first realizing they are holographic tiny fragments of the focus of their creator. This creative focus is in turn a tiny fragment of a finer, more encompassing focus of the potentiality that underlies a greater creation that has at some point been birthed from that which lies beyond in an unknowable state. Will we return to that, a state of unknowingness? Is that our goal at the farthermost reaches of eternity? Doubt it, for it appears that in order to move through the return trip, just exactly the opposite is necessary in order to progress. You must remember one of your greatest distortions in understanding creation at this level is your concept of needing to measure experience as linear in what you call time. It is also a great barrier for those of us who are too interested in experience to bother to measure it. We can conceive of no reason to do so, for we know divine order has no sequential parameters. As we return to our discussion of your concept of God, you can now see why we have substituted the term creation and creator instead of using God, in the hope that we could begin to change your perception. The word God itself conjures up feelings that cause inner turmoil in many, since, at a deeper level, they know that the religious teachings, through a long sequence of experience, has brought them only confusion. It has given them a distorted representation of the source of their origin. It is important that those who intend to bring forth the new paradigm have at least basic clarity of the nature of their identity and of the source of their existence. What lies beyond this galaxy is, at this moment, outside the necessity to understand. Let me read that again, those of you who are so focused on traveling to Doth. What lies beyond this galaxy is, at this moment, outside the necessity to understand. To know that it is all that is necessary. Our focus lies within the creation of our Creator. He, androgynous but in the masculine creative mode, can be called God, but frankly, a new name is recommended. You may address communication to him, but it is only received when it harmonizes with the creative outflow of his expression. In his name is an expression that, in your Bible, was meant to tell you to place your focus of prayer within that purposeful intention. You are to make a request that intends creation within the harmony of his attitude of all that is necessary to bring what you desire is available for your use. You are a fragment of him, and through you, he, the I am awareness of your connection, is experiencing expansion of the total awareness that is you, he. As you do this, it is a shared experience. As a fragment of him, you create by attraction all your experiences. But using the law of intention in harmonious cooperation within his expansive mode is how you create purposeful or new paradigms of experience. Matthew Watson says even Palpatine was on edge about that outer rim. Exactly. Because he knew what was out there. Wasn't no fun. It is hoped this information is a blessing through the expansion of your understanding of who and what you are. Yours is a glorious heritage. Celebrate it. Yours is a glorious heritage. Celebrate it. How you living? What? How you living? What? In living color. As a pie says, I don't want Darth. I want Kether. I heard that. Give me the crown. Victory Royale. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. All right, everybody. We have stopped on number 27. Molly says Royale with cheese. It's good to watch that movie after a couple of years. Pick up something that you didn't catch the first time around. All right, my friends, my family. I think this is a good time to sort of wrap it up. 11:30. We've been going for about 3 hours or so. We got a couple of chapters done. I didn't keep count. I think we started with 22 maybe. I don't know. But we're making pretty good progress through this book. Very interesting. Absolutely nothing like I remember. But yeah, we'll be back into this in a couple more days or so. Wednesday, I should be open to do tarot readings, so if you guys want to join with the tarot, we'll be doing some readings for the energy of the moment on Wednesday. And of course, you know what time it is on Saturday. We're getting back into this, the Cosmic Doctrine. Man, oh man, does Dion Fortune know how to deliver? Curve says, did you see there is a series, volume 2 and 3? Oh, right, yeah, I did see that recently. I didn't know that until a few days ago. All right, everybody. I hope that this has given you some wonderful things to percolate on within the subconscious, because we are evolving. We'll let you dream about this, create your own new paradigm. And remember what Nuru said, you can't think yourself out of the same problem that you thought yourself into. Sit down and meditate a little bit. Put some of those mantras on. All right, everybody, my favorite people, always great to see you. Tune in next time. Let's keep this thing going. Keep it percolating. Monica Lawan, peace, peace. Thanks for being here. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good night. All this talk about the presidents and whatnot, that's got me wanting to brush up on my NLP. All right, so this is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I love you all. Hey, listen, this has been a great time. It always is my favorite parts of the week. Have a beautiful night. Peace. And go listen to Cisco Thong Song. When he hits that yeah, when the music changes, when you think it's about to be over, but it comes back, yeah! I want you to really consider the passion that man had. You won't find that in today's music. They are finished with R&B. It's not coming back. Go back and appreciate the vibration that these people had when they was screaming on the track, when they was singing on the track, when they was pouring their heart out on the track. Go back and check that out. Da-da, da-da. Dong, 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 dong. Said I like the way you move that thing. Baby. Matthew Watson said them thongs had to be crazy. Man, the way he made it sound. The way he made it sound. America fell in love with that. Da-da, da-da. Da-da, da-da. I think the angels up to the fourth sphere enjoyed that song. That was a big hit in heaven and in earth. Scandalous and this living la vida loca. She had dumps like a truck. Baby, move your butt all night long. Let me see that thong. You know he meant them words. All right, that's enough. Let me get out of here. Y'all have a great night. Peace out. Living la vida loca. She had dumps like a truck. Thighs like what? Baby, move your butt. I think I sing it again. She had dumps like a truck. Thighs like what? All night long. Da-da. All right, peace out for real. Da-da. Baby.